Welcome back, Focus Learners, to another explainer. Today, we're actually going to step completely away from the noise of the everyday world. We're setting a really calm, deeply meditative tone for this one, because we are diving into a profound literary and existential analysis of a 2007 text by MandalaMatrix. It's called Ich bin, which, if you don't speak German, translates simply to I am. It's just this absolutely remarkable, beautifully structured piece of writing that takes us on a pretty deep journey of self-reflection. I'm super thrilled to guide you through all these intricate layers today, so let's get centered and just jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to listen to this incredible quote.
Ich bin alles. Ich bin nichts.
Ich bin. Translated, that means, I am everything, I am nothing, I am. Right? It's just a completely mind-bending final paradox to end a poem on. I mean, no way you read that and don't stop to think. But before we unpack exactly how the author gets to this stunning conclusion, I want you to just sit and ponder that universal search for identity for a second. Like, how do we actually define ourselves? Are we just our bodies? Is it our relationships? Or the whole universe? This text attempts to answer exactly that, and the structural journey it takes to get there is absolutely fascinating.
All right, starting with section 1, Die Macht von Ich bin, or the power of I am.
So, to really understand the conclusion of the poem, we first have to explore the concept of the expanding self. And we're starting with the actual linguistic engine that drives this whole text forward. And this brilliantly illustrates a literary device you might know. It's called an anaphora. Basically, anaphora is the deliberate repetition of a word or phrase at the very beginning of successive clauses. In this specific text, literally every single line begins with Ich bin, or I am. And, it isn't just some stylistic choice. It's a totally immersive tool. It creates this incredibly rhythmic, meditative, and almost hypnotic trance for the reader. By relentlessly repeating I am, the author kind of strips away all our worldly distractions and forces us into this continuous, deep introspection on our own existence.
Now, just for some quick context, MandalaMatrix published this text back on October 10, 2007. And what we're looking at here is a highly condensed 13-line journey. It's essentially designed to act as a framework of concentric circles. We're going to start at the absolute micro level, like right inside the physical self, and gradually ripple outward until we hit the macro level of the entire cosmos. It is literally a masterclass in using structured language to expand human consciousness.
Moving on to section 2, Körper, Geist und die Natur, which translates to body, mind, and nature.
Now, what's really interesting here is how, in the very first stanza, the author establishes the baseline of existence by anchoring their identity super deeply within their immediate physical and spiritual surroundings. Notice this perfect, mirrored balance they create. Look at the contrast. On the left side, we've got the grounded material elements, the earth on which I build, and the body in which I dwell. But then, this physical weight is immediately balanced on the right side by the ethereal, the sky into which I look, and the spirit that permeates me. The author is brilliantly bridging these two worlds right off the bat, suggesting that our identity isn't just, flesh, bone, and dirt, but also the boundless, invisible space around and within us.
So let me just ask you directly, and let's actually slow down and sit with this thought for a second. When you look up at the vastness of the sky, do you see a reflection of your own spirit? Do you see the boundlessness of your own potential mirrored up there in the clouds? You see, by applying the poet's framework to our own lives, the natural world around us stops being just this random environment we live in and actually becomes a true extension of the self.
Which brings us to section 3, Die Familie aus unser Spiegel, the family as our mirror.
As we move into the second stanza, that definition of I am ripples outward again, this time to incorporate our immediate human relationships. And look at how the author pairs specific family members with incredibly precise verbs. The father leads, the mother feels, the brother play, the sister love. The internal logic here is incredibly tight. The self is literally shaped by these exact interpersonal dynamics. We are the guidance and structure provided by the father. We are the emotional intuition and empathy of the mother. We are the camaraderie of the brother and the deep affection of the sister. Our identity, the author is arguing here, is basically a living mosaic of the actions and emotions we share with our closest kin.
And actually, I want to pause and highlight this one specific line. Ich bin der Bruder mit dem ich spiele. I am the brother with whom I play. It injects this really wonderful moment of tasteful, kind of light-hearted reflection into what is otherwise a deeply spiritual text. It reminds us that enlightenment and self-discovery aren't just found in, profound meditations on the spirit or the earth. Enlightenment includes ordinary human joy. The simple, everyday reality of playing a game or sharing a laugh with a sibling is absolutely just as fundamental to your cosmic identity as the sky above you.
Let's transition to Section 4, das kosmische und göttliche Bewusstsein, the cosmic and divine consciousness.
All right, having firmly established our earthly and human connections, the boundaries of the self now push completely beyond the earthly realm. Let's move to and see how this builds across the celestial scale. Notice the sequential ascent here. Step 1, the sun, which warms the self. Step 2, the moon, which swarms or revolves around the self. Step 3, the stars, which teach the self. And finally, step 4, the angels, who honor the self. So we are progressing from physical warmth straight into celestial orbit, then to ancient cosmic teaching, and arriving ultimately at divine reverence. The self is no longer just some body on Earth, right? It's expanded to become a truly cosmic entity, interacting with the literal universe.
To really put this into perspective and visually grasp the sheer vastness of the author's expanding consciousness, let's walk through this progression. It represents the metaphorical distance of the self expanding outward. We start at point 1, the inner body, which just exists in the present second. Then we expand to point 2, the near circle of the family, spanning a human lifetime. After that, we reach point 3, the far reaches of the sun and stars, representing thousands of millennia. And finally, we arrive at point 4, beyond the physical universe entirely, stepping into the eternal realm of angels. This is a chronological outward journey, taking us from immediate, fleeting time all the way into eternal divinity.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, Das Paradoxon des Seins, the paradox of being.
This brings our entire narrative arc to its absolute climax. What actually happens when the self expands this far? Woras bestehe? What am I made of? Think about it. When your consciousness expands to encompass the dirt on the ground, your sibling, the burning sun, and eternal angels, what are you? Well, the poem states, Ich bin alles, ich bin nichts, I am everything and I am nothing. It's a clean 50-50 split. So the crucial point is, this is a profoundly playful way to analyze the ultimate paradox of existence. If you become absolutely everything in the universe, the individual ego, the isolated you, dissolves entirely into nothingness. You can literally only be everything by simultaneously being nothing.
And then, the poem delivers its final, ultimate words. Ich bin. I am. Let's just pause there. After exploring the earth, the sky, the family, the stars, and the divine, after expanding into everything and collapsing into nothing, all of those complex, infinite layers anchor right back down into this one simple, irrefutable truth. I am. It's the beginning of the journey and the end of the journey. Existence itself is the ultimate grounding reality.
So, having walked through this incredible, structured expansion of the self, I want to turn this existential journey back onto you. What bist du? What are you? Are you just the physical body in which you live? Or are you the stars that teach you? I really hope this explainer has given you a fascinating, memorable framework to view your own place in the cosmos. Ponder that question today and keep exploring that incredible universe within. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.